Hello and welcome, my fellow compatriots, to the first contest of a new Buildable Figures toy line, Ascending Depths, which shall debut in 2021. And also, Merry Christmas! Now, without further ado, let's get right into the entries. Keep in mind, however, that in this contest, I will be judging each entry for the tribalistic aesthetic. Before we begin, of course, I will be scoring each entry 1 through 10 by these criteria. Structure, if mock, durability, design, playability, how fun it will be to play with. 3. Personality, how expressive the design is. 4. Character, by design and shape. 5. Originality. As for the order of this video, we'll start with honorary mentions, where I will speak briefly about the entries there before heading straight to the top 10. The higher score you have, the more chance you have in winning. Now let's get this started. Alright, so HB Blue scored 18 points. Bionicle FNAF TV scored 22 points. Janik scored also 22 points. Sunset's Account scored 25.5. Aiden H scored 28.5. And Jester Moon scored 28.5 as well. Kordak scored 30 points. Torma scored 30.5. Charkati scored 32 points. Greek Ink scored 34 points. Now Fragile, love the name, scored 35.5 points. I really like the model. He did very well in terms of character design. It really pops. I really like the colors. You know, it really owns the personality. If you look at this thing far away, you know, and just look at like the color layout, you know, there is something there that can be very popping for a set. I'm sad that this didn't win it in the top 10, but though there are some other entries that are just as good, if not better. But I love the colors. Tremendous job, Fragile. I wish you made it to the top 10, but sadly, it was not to be. Now, time for the top 10. Oh man, this is going to be a doozy. Because there was quite a few things that I did not see coming in this when I was scoring these like one by one and calculating the score. Now, number 10, we have TF Films, who scored 37 points. Now, TF Films is a very good design. I would have to admit, I really like the design that he went with. You know, for durability, I have to give him a 7 out of 10. It does look like a solid build. However, the frame, like for the torso, like the upper torso, it looks a little on the fragile side, though nothing did fall apart. But in terms of structure, it does look a little bit fragile, which is why it went down a little bit. As for playability, I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. You know, it definitely looks fun to play with, even though not by much, but it definitely is like fun to play with. You know, it could have been better. As for personality, I give it an 8 out of 10. The colors work very well. It's very simple. Red and black is always a good combination, even if... You see, the thing is, though the combination of red and black are very common, but if you find a way to layer it right, it definitely has that feeling of freshness to it, like a breath of fresh air. And I think he did that very well in terms of colors. It definitely is something new, and I love what he did with the chest. He looks like he's wearing a bandana, as the fabric is just weathered and old and falling apart. You know, in terms of like making that into a set, that would be cool to see. And that's why I gave it an 8 out of 10. Now, for character design, I gave it a 5.5 out of 10. Mainly because it's like your classic like Wandering Warrior look. You know, the Wandering Warrior look is good, but it could have been expressed a little bit better. You know, just because if he were to change up the design just a little bit enough while keeping the red and the black and keeping that lean aspect that the character has, maybe with like one buff armored arm like he currently has right now, just and stylize it a little bit more, it could have been higher. But I had to give him a 5.5 out of 10. As for originality, 10 out of 10, really like it. Now, oh my god. Honestly, I shouldn't have jinxed myself. I shouldn't have jinxed myself on Discord, but I did. I said, I doubt there will be any ties. Well, guess what happened? Number 9, we have a 3-way tie. Yes, a 3-way tie. Lord Feyroff, Nat, and Varo Filter scored 38 points. I don't know how, but they did it. A 3-way tie for number 9. My god, I did not see this coming. Let's start with Lord Feyroff. Now, Lord Feyroff, in terms of durability, 9 out of 10. Definitely. He is a very durable, figure. I can tell by how he was manipulating the figure. However, the waist is a little bit loose. Though, I can give it a little bit of a pass. Maybe he was a little bit rough with it, with the hands. But I didn't want to be too generous and give him a 9.5. So I gave him a 9 out of 10 for the durability aspect. Waist is a little bit loose. Could be a little bit stiffer. But then again, it could have been him being a little bit rough with it. As for playability, 8 out of 10. Definitely has a lot of fun poses and stuff like that you can do, especially with that scythe. He very much owns that scythe. It's very cool, and I think kids will love that. 7 out of 10 for personality. I really like the look. I really like it. You know, and the colors, you know, they do very well. I like how, there is the contrast with the blue to the red. It nails it very well. You know, it pops. It's like, here I am, out to go ahead and tear people to bits. You know, it definitely has that edgy factor, which it's very cool to see. However, though it is that edgy factor, you know, it could have been better. It could have been better with the edge. Maybe give it a cape, give it chains, you know? But yeah, it could have elevated on the edge a little bit in terms of that personality aspect and how expressive the character can be. It is expressive, but it could be better. Character design, 8 out of 10. I really like the body shape of this entry. Definitely has a Brutus feel with the body design. Does pretty well with that. However, it could be a little bit better. You know, it could use a little bit of polish in some areas, but it is very good. I do like it, which is why it scored an 8 out of 10. Now, originality, I gave it a 6 out of 10. As I said earlier, it definitely has that edgy feel. However, it's an edgy feel that I felt like I've seen before a couple of times. I'm thinking about like Spawn having a baby with the Grim Reaper. You know, it's definitely like something that I feel like I've seen before. Though it still owns it. That's the thing. It still owns it, which is why I gave it a 6 out of 10. I would have given it higher if it not only owned it, but amplified its personality even more. Now, next up, we have Nat. Now, Nat didn't submit a durability test. So it kind of went a little bit low in terms of that, which is why I gave it an 8 out of 10. But it looks like a solid model. It doesn't look like it's going to fall apart at all. That's the thing. It doesn't look like it's going to fall apart at all, which is why I didn't lower down tremendously. But I'm not too sure about the feet. The feet is a little bit of a concern. I lowered it quite a bit. As for playability, I gave it a 6 out of 10. It's definitely a fun figure to fiddle around with, especially with its one weapon and the staff. It's, but I don't see a kid playing too much with this. Even though it is good, I don't see a kid playing too much with this. Now, you can probably bap someone with the staff and just like, haha, that's what you get, kind of thing. But it doesn't have that much to it, sadly. Personality, 6 out of 10. The coloring is good. It definitely has like a desert vibe to it. Someone that lives out in like desert plains or so forth. Maybe even a leader of a tribe. It definitely has that aspect to it, but it doesn't have that much going for it. It doesn't really own it. It's just adopting it. As for character, I gave it an 8 out of 10. It has good shaping to it. I like the hunch. It owns the hunchness pretty well. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, but it could be better. As for originality, I gave it a 10 out of 10. It's very original. Definitely something I haven't seen before. It's much more unique. And lastly, on this tie, we got Varu Filter. Now, Varu Filter is an interesting one. I will admit, it's a very durable model. I gave it a 10 out of 10 for the durability aspect. It's a very solid frame. I don't think it's going to be falling apart anytime soon. As for playability, I gave it a 4 out of 10. Though it does have the gun, it does have the swords, I don't see someone like playing with the model all too much. It does got quite a bit to it, but not that much in terms of play-wise. Now, personality, I gave it a 7 out of 10. You can do some pretty cool stuff with the swords and the gun. It has that level of expressiveness. Probably would be cool to see and stop motion or something like that. It would be interesting. 9 out of 10 for character design. Love it. Oh, and by the way, in terms of personality, I love the colors as well. Green and silver is a very nice touch. Now, back to character design. I love the body design that is going for. It's like a cybernetic, skelly dude. I really like it. I really like it for that, which is why I give it a 9 out of 10. It's very unique in that aspect. Now, for originality, 8 out of 10. Not really too tribal. It's definitely more cyber, but it definitely is like something that I would probably most likely feel like I would see in any like dark sci-fi future kind of thing. So I didn't give it a higher score than that. Now for number 8, we got Barsum Fierce scoring 42. Now, Barsum Fierce. Oh, I love this artwork. You have no idea. I love it. And I'm just like, when I first was like putting this, you almost went in honorary mentions. You almost did, as well as the previous entries. They almost were in honorary mentions, but due to all these ties that kept happening, you were able to pull through like a You had that stamina. You kept it in there through and through in this competition, and I tip your hat to you. You know, you were like, no, I will not be an honorary mention. I'm going to pull through this, and pull through this you did. So I tip my hat to you on that one. As for structure, it is very durable. It looks like a very solid design. You know, it's not, if this were to be made into a figure, I doubt it would fall apart. Design and playability, 8 out of 10. The shield and the sword, the shield and the saw blade thing, it is very nice. I love it. I can imagine like it can have like a shield bashing function, or like throwing its saw shield at people, which will be dope. Kids and anyone like in the Bionicle fan community would love that. I think that would be pretty awesome. Or even just a slashing attack as like the blade spins. You know, that would be so cool as a set. I really like that. You know, so because of that, I gave it an 8 out of 10. You know, it's pretty good. However, it is still like a shield and a saw. You know, but it does it pretty well. I like it. I really do. As for personality, 8 out of 10. It is definitely expressive, like the way the body design, the way the colors are laid out. You know, it definitely is eye-catching. It's very nice. You know, and however, now granted, Bionicle of old, you know, especially with the Nog, you know, there wasn't too much in terms of like facial expression, and it's fine. You can get a lot of like expressiveness in terms of body language, and yeah, with a humanoid shape, you can get a lot of expressibility, which is why you scored an 8 out of 10. You know, it's very well done. However, it would have been higher if the face were a little bit better, because even an expressive one, or even just static, you know, just a mask, you know, or a helmet, you know, you can still get a little bit of that expression on the head. But like for this one, it's a little bit messy. But it's still very good though. I really like the idea of the 2 mouths. You know, it's interesting. I've never seen that before. That is very cool. It could be cleaner. But it's very cool. I've never seen anything with 2 mouths. That is so bizarre in a way that I just love it. I love it. I just wish it were cleaner. But I love it. Okay, so as for for character design, I gave it a 6 out of 10. Body shaping is good. It's your classic humanoid. However, again, classic humanoid. You know, it definitely has like all the traits it needs for a humanoid shape, but it doesn't really like have much going for it. You know, I wish, you know, there was a little bit more like character with it. But it is still a good design regardless, and originality, 10 out of 10. Love the double mouths, love the colors, everything about it. Also hair! Freaking hair! That is very nice, you know, it's definitely tribal. I love it. Excellent work. Alright, number 7. Sutox, scoring 45.5 points. Sutox, I love what you did. You know, it looks like a very durable model. I love your entry, which is why I gave yours in terms of structure 10 out of 10. As for playability, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. It definitely looks like a fun figure to play with, especially with the swords and stuff like that. A very fun action figure. Just wish there was a little bit more articulation in the arms. I'll be honest to say that, because me doing stop motion and stuff like that, especially with the Optimatorin build, you can do a lot of personality expression with the Optimatorin build, surprisingly. However, it always makes me longing for just a slight bit of movement in them elbows, and I wish that there was a little bit of more articulation in those elbows, but other than that, it's pretty solid, which is why I give you an 8.5 out of 10. Now, for personality, 8 out of 10. I really like the colors. They really pop, you know, with how they're layered out. It definitely gives like a construction kind of like vibe to it, like as if it was this being was originally like a construction worker or even a miner. You know, it definitely has like that heavy mineral carrying kind of look, you know, has that harshness to it, which I really do like. As for character design, 10 out of 10. I love what you did with the legs. It has that chunkiness. It has that chunk. He looks like his legs can conquer the all-terrain. You know, he looks like a unit, a powerful little unit, and I just love that. So I had to give him a 10 out of 10 for that. And as for originality, 9 out of 10. It definitely has that tribal feel to it. However, definitely does look like a Matoran, though. It feels like a Matoran to me. As much as I love the chunk on those legs, you know, he looks like a unit. But, man, I just could have had some little variations so that I could maybe not see this as a Matoran. But the design definitely does speak Matoran. All right, next up we have number 6, Almighty Breadloaf, scoring 46.5. Now, Almighty Breadloaf, the great Almighty Breadloaf. I am sad. I am really sad. I wish you were higher. You had such a good design. You know, your entry looks so good. I love it. Almighty Breadloaf, why? Now, why is he in number 6? Why? Why, Tributron? Tell me why. Why? Well, let's go ahead and take a look, shall we? Now, Almighty Breadloaf scored a 9 out of 10 for durability. It seems like a very solid build, a very solid frame. However, like, there's some parts that I think might be a little like a bit of a pain to pose, like to hold a pose, but it is very well done. I love it. You know, as for design and playability, it looks fun to play with. I can imagine people playing with this thing for hours. I mean, it got the mouth, and you can bite down foes. It got like freaking claws, clawing them down. It has so much going for it, and I love it. As for personality, 10 out of 10. It is definitely a beast that you do not want to mess with, not even come in proximity with. He will tear down your house, wreck your homes. Oh man, it is such a good design. I love it. And the colors. Oh, the colors. I love the paint job. It's so freaking beautiful. And I had to give it a 10 out of 10 for personality. 10 out of 10. Nailed it. Character. 10 out of 10. I love the shaping of this thing. It is so original as well, which is why I gave it a 10 out of 10. But it's still number 6. Why? I have no idea. I wish it won. I wish, but it's number 6. Now, oh gosh, I am definitely gonna remember this entry. I am definitely will. Almighty Bread Loaf, rest in peace. I love this. It was beautiful in every sense of the word. Beautiful. All right, so number 5, another 3-way tie. A 3-way tie, another one. Now you're probably wondering, okay, what's gonna top the great almighty bread loaf? How? What has beaten almighty bread loaf? What 3 individuals in number 5 have conquered the almighty bread loaf? These entries are Luba 335 scoring 47 points, the third Olmec scoring 47 points, and Tora Krakau scoring 47 points. Now let's talk about Luba. Now I know you guys are going to be yelling in the comments. You're going to be yelling. You are all going to be yelling at me for this. I know without a doubt you're going to be yelling at me. This is Tributron from the future. Stop the break. Pump it. Stop it. Tributron from the future speaking. Alright, past me. Though you made that decision, and it was pretty thoughtful, there is one aspect that needs to be heavily considered, and that is the playability. Would you have more fun playing with a nicely updated Nika build compared to a giant beast? Now, I know without a doubt, kids and those of the older demographic would automatically go for the giant monster. And that is why, without any further ado, I will give the almighty bread loaf 47 points and move Luba's entry back to 6th place. So congratulations, almighty bread loaf. You moved a little bit forward, not that much though. But it is a very good model. Alright, Tributron from the future out. Last thing I need is continuity errors. Luba 335. Now, this, for durability, it scored very well. In terms of durability, I will admit, it basically got a 10 out of 10 for durability. It's a very solid build. It's your it's basically a Nika build, but better. It's a Nika build, but better. As for playability, definitely looks fun to play with. But you know, and it's a small enough scale where like it's not going to like be a pain to fiddle around with, unlike Almighty's bread loaves entry. Like even though like it's big, my big concern with Almighty bread loaves was like how well would it hold itself together? You know, when it hold a pose and stuff like that. You know, even though it was gorgeous. Which is sad. But as for personality, it definitely has quite the nice color scheme as well. It really pops, the red and the black. It owns it pretty well. You know, I really like it. It got like a 9 out of 10. You know, and 10 out of 10 for character design. It's a very simple, yet it works. It works. It's simple, but it works. I can't explain it, but it works very well. So I had to give it a 10 out of 10. It's very well done for a character design. in terms of shaping. You know, it brings something like fresh to the table. It actually looks like something you would buy at at the store from Lego. It honestly does. It's simple in the best way, which is why it scored so well in character design. And as for originality, 9 out of 10. Had to put it down because it doesn't feel tribal enough. But it's very original, I would admit. Now, the third Olmec which scored 47. Let's take a look at this. Now this, look at that beautiful face. Look at it. It's beautiful. I love this thing. It is awesome. I give it a 10 out of 10 for durability. It's not going to fall apart. That thing's not going to fall apart. As for playability, 10 out of 10. You can be slashing at everything, you know. It's so cool. I love that, you know. It definitely has the slashy slash. I really love that a lot. And as for personality, I love the color layout. It's very good, you know. Even though it has a little bit of yellow here and there, it's all in the right places. However, add something new, you know. Something even more fresher. It is new, but add something even more fresher, and I think you would really have something. And on top of that, like that articulated mouth and head bring a lot to the table. It definitely brings a lot to the table. However, I just wish like the front arms were articulated as well, despite having that function. Like it has the function, but it has articulated arms too, like so that you can put it in like a pouncing stance or a walking stance or a running stance. You know, bring something very interesting to that. You know, but sadly, it does not. I had to give it an 8.5. So, as for our character design, 10 out of 10. Very well done. I love it. 10 out of 10. Outstanding job. It's tremendous work. As for originality, 10 out of 10. Definitely something I've never seen before. Love it. And all in all, I had to say, Olmec, you did a phenomenal job. Now, for the next one, Tokakao, who scored 47. For like durability, you know, 10 out of 10. This mad lad, when he did the durability test video, he just basically simply was like, okay, here I am holding up in the air, and freaking drops it. And it's a unit. It held together. I am so impressed. I give that a 10 out of 10 for not only just it falling, but sticking the landing. This unit is tremendous, and I love it for it. As for playability, 10 out of 10. Love the gun arm. That is so fun, and you can probably put some cool poses, go like pow pow, all Mega Man style. You know, it's just have that. It definitely brings a lot to the table, and I just love it for it. As for personality, a 9 out of 10. I really like the color layout, you know, and it's very well done. It could be a little bit cleaner though, just slightly. It could have been a little bit cleaner, but it's still very good. And as for character design, 9 out of 10. Though it is popping and stuff like that, you know, and in all the right places, it has good shaping to it and all of that, you know, and me imagining how this guy would move around, how he would fight and stuff like that. It's definitely awe-inspiring, yet it definitely feels like something, like I stated earlier, you know, it definitely doesn't got like the round aspects of Megabind, of course not. It's definitely very, very much different from that. Very much different from that. But it definitely has that familiarity to it. Which familiarity isn't a bad thing. You know, it definitely has that wow factor. But if only it owned it a little bit more. And for originality, 9 out of 10, not very tribal, but man, is it a solid design. All right. So, number 4, Scrap to Spare, scoring 48. Oh, Scrap to Spare. I honestly love this build. I honestly do. It is a very solid build as well. 10 out of 10. It's very stable. It can hold a pose tremendously well. It can hold a pose tremendously well. You know, I really like it. As for playability though, 9 out of 10. I love the sword. Like the javelin. I should call it more so of a javelin than anything else, or staff. But I really like the weapon. It adds a lot to it. You can do so much with it. You know, it's very unique. I really like it a lot. But yeah, that's all I can really say. And as for the personality aspect, I really like the colors. The colors are very well done. You know, it's definitely in the vibrancy aspect. I give that a 9 out of 10 for that. You know, it's very clean, very clean. And as for character design, 10 out of 10, very unique. I really like it. I like the fact that he has bones. Like teeth just hanging off of the string across his torso. It's very nice. I love it a lot. I like the extra little details here and there. It definitely has that tribal feel. I really like it a lot. And for originality, 10 out of 10. You did well, Scrap to Spare. You did very well. Number 3. Oh, I love this one. I love this one. It's Bionicle Gaming, scoring 48.5 points. 48.5. Oh, man. Bionicle Gaming. Oh, you have made by far the most beautifulest thing I have ever feasted my eyes upon. Oh, I love this. I love this so much. But I for structure, I gave it a 9 out of 10. It looks like it's very solid. It looks very solid. Solid build. I'm not, though. The one concern that I have, is the head crest. I feel like it might pop off. I am worried. But it looks so good. Design and playability, 9.5 out of 10. Very fun to play with. Can swing that thing around, and swing that weapon around. Very, very cool. And plus the articulation to boot. You can have a ball of fun with this thing. I can imagine that. Very well done. I love it a lot. Personality, 10 out of 10. The colors pop. It's all in the right places. There was a lot of thought in where to orient the colors for the color scheme of this figure. You put a lot of thought into this, and I just had to tip my hat to you, good sir. You did a phenomenal job. I really like what you did. Outstanding. Character design, 10 out of 10. At first, I'll be honest, it's unique. you know, but I didn't see like too much going with it, you know, but the more I looked at it, the more things I found that were actually pretty amazing. Like the hands, like you put like, there's a little bit of like inconsistency, you know, and nothing is symmetrical. Like you got like different shapes and fingers as if like he's just made out of like piles of scrap or something like that, you know. And I just love that it brings so much character to the model, and that with the head crack, it just works so well. And the chains, man, the chain skirt. The chain cloth, you know, the loin cloth made of chains. It is so good. I just love that. And originality, 10 out of 10. Love it. All right, so, whew. Number 2. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, remember when I said that I jinxed myself in Discord? Well, guess what? Number 2 has a tie again. And this pains me. This pains me. Pacarine scored 49 points and Crow Lucas scored 49 points. Pacarine. Let's start with Pacarine. Oh, man. Ah! Pacarine, my guy. I wanted this to win. I really did. I loved your artwork. It's freaking beautiful. It's beautiful. I just love everything about it. It definitely brings like Bionicle of old, but amplifies it as if you just putting Bionicle straight into the veins, my guy. Hot damn, Pacarine. But for structure though, 9 out of 10. Why isn't it not 10 out of 10? Why is it? The ankles look fragile. Everything looks so good. And if like the design of the ankles were a little bit more like durable, you would have had a perfect score of 50 points. You would have had 50 points, but I saw those ankles and I realized if that were made to a set, that would be brittle. And I wanted to be generous. I really did. I wanted to give you a 9.5 just to slide you by. You know, be a little cheesy. It's like, I'm going to put my own biased opinion in this, but that wouldn't be fair. That wouldn't be fair. But, you would have had 50 points, my God. You would have had 50, a perfect score of 50. But, the ankles. Could have been better. Playability, 10 out of 10. Will be fun to play with. There is so much you can be done with it. You could probably do like something to like swing around a weapon and stuff like that. Maybe even a throwing function. Like there is so much you can do, you know, with the weapon. It is so unique. I love it. I love everything about it. So for the playability, definitely is something fun to play with. Personality, very expressive. Very expressive. I really like how it is, you know. Even though in the mask, especially, though, like it due to the design, it definitely has that like gruffness, you know. It's a kind of feel. And I just love that. I really love that a lot. You did a phenomenal job with that, my guy. And as for character design, 10 out of 10. The level of detail, the level of Greeble is insane. And I would kill to have a set like that. I would kill for a set like that. And originality, 10 out of 10. I wish you scored a perfect 50. I honestly wish you did. But, now for the next one, Crow Lucas. Oh, Crowty Lucas. Lucas, my man. You ended up getting the score of 49. As for structure, 9 out of 10. It looks very fun. You know, well, we'll get onto the playability aspect for a second, but in terms of like durability, 9 out of 10, it looks very solid. However, there are a few parts that look like they flop around a little bit, like there's a switch in his back that you can pull down. So it's just kind of cute. I love that. It has a switch in the back. And the arm swing function, though it looks like the way it's connected, it might pop off just a little bit. But it's good. It's a solid design, and I gave it a 9 out of 10. If you fixed up, like, try to, when I was looking through the instructions and stuff like that and how it's built, like, if, like, there was another way for you to connect those arms together and make the gear function a little bit more secure, you could have had a perfect 50. You could have had a perfect 50. You could have. And honestly, I'm sad. I am very sad. You could have had a perfect 50. But as for playability, 10 out of 10. I love the puppeteering aspect that you did with this. Like, the way you can move the arms independently from one another instead of both at the same time is amazing. I love that. That allows for so much level of play for such a small model that you could just take around everywhere. It is amazing. I love that. As for personality, 10 out of 10. Colors all in the right places. It pops very well. Very well, I might add. You did a phenomenal job with that, and I have to tip my hat to you. 10 out of 10. Character design, 10 out of 10. I love the body shape of it. Even though it be a humanoid, it does a lot of things different, like down to like the way the gears make up for part of the design of the body, the giant block of white for the torso, you know, it in its terms of shaping, you know, there's a lot of character to it. It really is. Even if the face is simple in shaping, but it's that simplicity that carries it far and beyond. You did great. I honestly had to say you did a great job. And originality, 10 out of 10. You did amazing. You did amazing. Both of you, Packery, Lucas, congratulations, and going to number 2. Congratulations. It was definitely a challenging race. Now, for number 1. The number 1 entry is Ender Guy, who scored 49.5 points. Oh, by just half a point. He won. Now, this design, hot dang, this is God tier of like build and everything. You killed it, literally killed it. As for like structure ability, it's very durable. He freaking punched the muck. He punched it. I feel sorry for the pieces, but man, they did not give, not even once. They are solid. He wasn't going anywhere. He's not falling apart at all. This is an absolute unit. And so I gave it a 10 out of 10 for that. Playability, very fun to play with. Very fun. I can imagine you doing a lot of things with it. You know, in terms of play, you know, it definitely has that energy for an action figure. You know, with the articulation that it has, you know, it definitely like brings a lot of freshness to the table, but I wish it did a little bit more. I wish it did a little bit more. But it still gets a 9.5 out of 10. 9.5. You know, I have a lot of things in mind for a function, you know, but I'm trying to keep my personal ideas out of it when I was judging this, so I had to give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's a very fun figure to play with, and it didn't necessarily need a function. It didn't need a function to be fun to play with. That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing. Personality, 10 out of 10, very expressive. Like, you can get a lot of emotive energy with this figure. It is tremendous. I give that a 10 out of 10. You did a phenomenal job, Ender Guy. And as for character design, 10 out of 10. I've never seen, like, a body design like that. It is so clean. It is so clean. You know, and back to, like, the personality aspect, the colors. Oh my God, I love the colors. It's vibrant, but at the same time, it does have, like, that menacing factor. Like, it's bright and colorful, but it's still menacing. You know, because people, usually, when they try to be menacing, they try to go for darker colors. But the fact that you were able to get a menacing kind of looking character with lime green is honestly amazing. It is very well done. So you did phenomenal there. And as for originality, I had to give it a 10 out of 10. It's very original. Love it a lot. And yes, that is the end of the contest. Oh man, I thought a few others were going to win this, especially Almighty Bread Loaf. Oh my God, especially Almighty Bread Loaf. I would have loved, but because we got so many good entries for the top 3. What I'm going to do, probably, because I love those entries, they were so phenomenal, even though I'm not going to be making sets of those, except for Ender Guy. Ender Guy is going to be becoming a set. Ender Guy's entry is going to be becoming a set, but for number 2 and number 3, I might release a few pieces just so that you can make a mock of those entries. I just might do that because hot damn, that was beautiful. Especially for peckerings. My God. That's such a beautiful design. So what happens now? Now that Ender Guy won, what happens now is that I am going to be going ahead, talking with Ender Guy, try to figure out some things in terms of how we can fit his character into the story. And so that when I go ahead and make the sets, I will release his set with the first wave. So he's going to be one of many of the first sets that are going to be coming out. So he's going to be like a special edition for his set that's going to be coming out. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for any updates in Ascending Depths, because this is going to be a phenomenal experience, and I can't wait to like keep the community alive. I honestly want to, you know, and have like younger fans be able to experience Bionicle the way I did growing up, and many other people who also grew up with Bionicle, you know, Generation 1. You know, I want to bring that back again, you know, that feeling, even if it's a different story or it and all that. So stay tuned, and I hope you all enjoy. But anyways, that's all for now, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.